Hello, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. In this video, I'm going to talk about my specific process, my path, my life path, and how I became a master manifestor, which I really can say that I am a master manifestor. I mean, I know that's a big statement, but I feel confident in saying that. That's how I feel. I feel I'm masterful at manifesting, which of course is why I'm teaching it. So how did I become this? There's a few significant things that have happened on my path, and I want to share those with you in this video. Before I jump in, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel. You can subscribe right there. And also know that I'm doing a weekly giveaway of an ebook bundle, 3 ebooks. And the way to enter into this weekly giveaway, this contest, is to subscribe, like, and comment below. You can enter on all of my videos for the week. And also, one more thing, know that I offer lots of self-study manifesting courses. All of those courses are linked below. Courses to manifest anything you want, so have a look. They're amazing, they're fun. Yeah, have a look below. Okay, so how did I become a master manifestor? What has been my path and my process on the manifesting journey? This is fun. This is sweet to share with all of you. So, and I'm even going to just be recalling it as I'm recording this video. So I remember when I first came across manifesting, I imagine a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people watching my channel, but I know a lot of people had a similar experience where it was definitely in my early 20s where I first came across the book, Ask and It Is Given. A friend, a coworker of mine at the time, introduced me to that book. And this, of course, was written by Esther and Jerry Hicks and Abraham. And it was the first, I think, of the Abraham books, and it was my first introduction to manifesting. And this was a long time ago. So anyways, yeah, I read this book, and I remember reading Ask and It Is Given and feeling like, okay, this is true. I just knew, like I was reading it and I just had that feeling, this is true. So that was beautiful and all, but I didn't really do anything with it. Like I probably tried to apply manifesting. I'm sure I did, but it didn't fully click necessarily. Like I didn't quite know how to do it. Something didn't fully click, and I also just wasn't interested enough to really practice it. So my manifesting skills did not, didn't excel at that point in my life. It wasn't until a very significant event happened, and this was my spiritual awakening. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in other videos as well because people are asking me about it, but I'll give you a little tiny bit of what happened to me in this awakening in this video. So I had a significant spiritual awakening. It wasn't a gradual awakening. It was like a blasting open type of awakening. And this happened in November 2011. And here's what happens specifically. At that time, I was a therapist. I was a psychotherapist. My self-seeking or seeking to understand myself had happened mainly through psychology. So I myself was a psychotherapist, and I also had been in my own psychotherapy, like working with a therapist for 8 years. So I had done a lot of inner work, both just by being in graduate school, being in internship, and by being in my own therapy. And this was my seeking phase. I was seeking to understand myself. I was seeking to understand life. I was seeking to understand my relationships. And even though I'd had all this therapy, and I love therapy, most of my friends are therapists, like it was a really significant part of my life, there were still missing pieces that I didn't really understand about what the heck was going on, like why my life was the way it was. So I knew my psychology very well, but still my life was kind of disorganized in a lot of ways. Hence I was in therapy for 8 years. So what happened was I like I said, I had a spiritual awakening. I was not a spiritual seeker at that time at all, but I went through what I call a dark night of the soul. And it was a specific event. It was Thanksgiving in 2011. I was with my boyfriend at the time. I got really drunk. We got in a massive fight. It was just fight as in like argument fight, but it was just gnarly. It was super gnarly. I just felt, it was awful. Like I remember feeling so much shame, so much like self-disgust. And that night I was home in my bed in San Francisco where I lived at the time. And I just was like, how I was feeling before the awakening happened was I was feeling like, I'm so over this. I'm so over like being who I am. I'm so over feeling this way. Like I just felt over it. That's the best way I can describe it. I just felt over it. I felt over life. I felt over everything. And it was in that moment or in that night, that period of time, that like hour or whatever, that a new recognition just awoke within me. This is why it's called an awakening. It literally did feel like an awakening. I'll say more about that. But that recognition it was very still. It was pretty quiet. But it was also the most powerful message I had ever received. And essentially the message was, I'll try to recreate it. Let me feel into it. The message essentially was, sweetheart, none of this is what you are. None of this chaos and none of this mess is what you are. It's not even close to what you are. What you are is absolute perfection. Like what you are is this stillness. And this stillness is here and it's never going away. And that's the truth of you. And that's the truth of everything else. So this messaging came to me, I'm going like this, but it actually didn't come like this. It came like this. It came up like this. And it didn't come to me in words, but it was just a knowing. And when I woke up the next morning, after that was the awakening, I didn't even really know it was an awakening because I didn't really know what a spiritual awakening was. I wasn't looking for that to happen. But afterwards, I remember looking around my house and my neighborhood and feeling like everything looked different. And I knew something significant had happened. I knew something very significant had happened. And honestly, I started Googling, like, what is this? And actually, I came across the spiritual awakening and I was like, okay, that's it. And then, so this is a very significant part of my story and how I became a master manifestor. In fact, this is the most significant part. Because in that awakening, I recognized that I'm the purity of perfection, that I am love in every single moment, that essence of love is everlasting, eternal, and it's always here and it's always what I am. And I always have access to it inside my own being. So essentially, I woke up to my innate perfection, and I woke up to the recognition of the innate perfection of all of life. This is what makes me a master manifestor. And there's more to my story that I will tell in this video, but this is what makes me a master manifestor. And I wasn't necessarily, well, things started to move and shake really fast after the awakening. Like, I did notice that I could align to things that I desired, and I was able to manifest things very, very quickly, and a lot started to manifest very fast for me after that. But how I was doing that was I could feel that nothing was missing. This is so important. This is really an important component of manifesting, and I don't think it's talked about too much, probably. So that feeling that nothing is missing, and that feeling that my thing that I want is not missing, that everything is right here always, that feeling is the most important aspect of manifesting. So sometimes we kind of forget what manifesting is about, and we get really focused on the things that we want. That's fine. You can want things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great. Whatever. I want things. I get things. It's like, whatever. Who cares? It's fine. However, the reason you're able to do that is because you are infinite. Like, that's why you're able to manifest, because you're infinite. Do you see how significant that is? Like, and so when I had my spiritual awakening, I woke up to the recognition that I'm infinite. And that recognition from that day has never gone away. It's been 9 years. It's never gone away. I know that I'm infinite. You can say, I know I'm God. I know that I'm love. I know that I'm perfect and whole. When you are able to feel wholeness about yourself and about life, and when you're able to feel that nothing is missing, even if it looks like it is, it's not. Internally, nothing is ever missing. When you know that, honestly, when you practice that, when you live in that, you are a master manifester. Okay, so that's what happened to me in my spiritual awakening. It was the most significant event in my life. It will always be the most significant event in my life. It changed everything for me. It did not mean that my life got perfect. It did not at all. I still had to integrate the awakening for many years, and I didn't even really, I had to understand what had happened to me. It was very big. It was really, really big. I knew immediately that I was now seeing life in a very different way than most people. And I was seeing life very different than what I used to see it as. But I didn't quite understand what had happened to me, or like why it happened to me. But anyways, that was the awakening. So moving forward, then I continued to manifest. Sometimes I would manifest after the awakening, and sometimes I would just like live in the bliss of the now moment and like not really care what came in and out of my life. But I'd say a couple years ago, I became interested in manifesting again. And in that, I did at a certain point, well, I had another awakening or realization, and that realization was that everything is me. So it was the awakening of everyone as you pushed out. And I found Neville Goddard very soon after that, which of course, that makes a lot of sense that would come into my life. So I always knew that we were all connected. I always knew, like I knew the truth of oneness after my awakening. I knew the truth of everything is sourced from source energy. But I still believed in separation to a certain degree. But then when I woke up to the recognition that everything is my perception of what it is, then I really became a master manifester, because I realized that that's when I awoke to, and a lot of people awake to, that's when I awoke to the recognition that nothing can go against what I'm creating, like not even another person. We believe that other people can mess up our manifestations. And up until that point, I believed the same. I would wrestle a lot, in particular with my partner or partners. Like I thought that they were acting on their own accord, and I didn't really get that I was actually controlling them with my thoughts and my beliefs of who they were. So then that was the next layer of becoming a master manifester. And yeah, that again, of course, was awakening to everyone as you pushed out. I talk about that, what everyone as you pushed out, very deeply in this video right here. So this was my process of becoming a master manifester. If I were to say like what the most significant thing was, it's awakening to my infinite nature. So if you awaken to your infinite nature and you're knowing that you are God, and you really know that, it's not like you feel the truth of that. If you are living there, of course you're going to manifest everything you want. There's nothing getting in the way. And then of course, when you know that you also are controlling even other people with your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, okay, well then it's game over. You won the game. And that's how I felt when I had that second realization that I was that I was actually dictating how people showed up with me. I literally felt like I had like a visual of playing a video game and it was like game over, you won the game. That's literally what I felt like. So this is how I became a master manifestor. I'm so curious what you think about this video. I just kind of went into my personal story and shared a lot with you guys. I would love to hear in the comments below, what do you think about what I shared? And yeah, thank you guys so much for being here with me and being on my channel and just being a part of my work. It's such a joy and pleasure to be here with all of you. Honestly, it's such a deep pleasure of mine. So thank you guys for being here. Please like and subscribe and comment below, and I'll see you guys soon.